Welcome back to the crown jewel of the World Poker Tour, the WPT World Championship, coming to you from Bellagio in Las Vegas.
Oh, Mike, it is all coming down. These three players going after this title. This is exciting right now.
Well, no question about it, Vince. This is the tournament that all poker players want to win. Who's it going to be? Let's get back down to the table and find out.
It's on our chip leader, Hassan. This time he looks down at a mid-pair, pair of sixes wired.
He just limps in on the button with 2 sixes. A little surprising.
Right behind him, Tuan Lee with an 8-6 in his hand. Money already invested.
Now Tuan's going to call out of the small blind.
And Paul Maxfield with Jack-7 of spades. Going to wrap the table as well.
He says, give us a flop. So here we go, a family pot. All 3 players in action. Wow, flop is 10-9-8. Paul Maxfield has flopped a straight.
Tuan checks.
Well, they all 3 check on the flop here.
Here comes the turn card. Paul wants a trap, it looks like.
Well, a queen comes off. Tuan checks.
And let's see if Paul comes out of Sherwood Forest here.
Yep, he bets 300,000 with his straight.
Wow.
Now Hassan saying to himself, you know, if he had a jack, wouldn't he have bet on the flop there? I don't believe him.
He's going to raise it.
I'm going to bet 900,000 here and test the water.
Tuan quickly going out. Back on Paul, who's been trapping here. Well, he just makes the call here. So the river card coming up. The Englishman in a great place right now.
Now the ace of diamonds comes on the river, making a potential flush out there.
Well, there's higher straights. There's the flush, and Paul is going to check it.
Well, he is walking the dog big time here, Vince. Just checking it to these guys and letting them bet themselves broke.
Will Hassan slow down?
He's betting $2 million here, Vince.
Just a gigantic bet into Paul. He's saying, go away, my friend. Go back across the pond, please.
What Paul is thinking here is, did the guy have a king-jack? Did he make a straight on the turn? Wouldn't he have raised with a king-jack before the flop? Did he make a diamond flush here?
And Hassan goes back to a 99-cent fan. Tries to keep cool. He's actually posing like he's very comfortable. We know otherwise.
Now, this is what poker's all about, making correct decisions. I think you have to make this call if you have a straight, Vince. If you made a diamond flush, good luck to him.
It's a big bet, Hassan.
That's a big bet.
It's a big pot. Big pot deserves a big bet, right?
And Hassan's going to yap it up here.
Well, Hassan will be better off dummying up, I think, in this spot. And Paul's trying to figure out right now, did he make a diamond flush? I would be shocked if he laid down this straight, Vince.
But this would be one of the great displays of bowling at the poker table. If you could push Paul out. This is the same guy that dropped aces and eights early on.
I call.
And he's making the right call.
We got it. Small pair sixes. That's it. That's good.
Hassan just
Well,
devastated.
there you go. Paul stands up. Well, that's Marcel Lusk, whose hand he's shaking there. Marcel, former Tournament Player of the Year in Europe on several occasions. And folks, with that pot, we have a new chip leader at the table. It's the amateur Paul Maxfield from England.
Paul Maxfield hasn't played many U.S. poker tournaments, but after tonight, he may be showing up a lot more.
Okay, all in. Yes! Yes! Get in there! I come to the United States twice a year to play poker.
Paul Maxfield may look like a hard, stone-faced pro, but on the inside, he's just a soft-spoken Englishman.
I'm from Stoke-on-Trent in England, and I have an engineering company. Poker's my hobby. This is the largest event I've played. Yes!
This week, Paul took his hobby to a whole new level and will never forget the hand that got him to the final table.
Well, you know, I bluffed John Fan. I moved all in for 1.2 million, and he took forever to call. And I sat at the table with the sunglasses on, and I could feel a bead of sweat coming down my arm here. And you know when you're on the TV, like a droplet explodes. It dropped on the table, and I thought, oh, the whole room's heard this. He's definitely going to call me now. So anyway, he passed the hand, and then I just couldn't play another hand after that. I was exhausted.
$1,000 satellite got him into this event, and right now he has the potential of winning $2.8 million. With that, the antes and blinds going up again. $40,000 antes and the ridiculous $200,000 and $400,000 blinds.
We have an amateur from England up against a WPT champion and the guy who finished runner-up in this tournament last year. What an amazing event we've got going on here at Bellagio.
Back to the table, it's on Twanley. He's got Queen Jack in his hand. He's going all in with it.
He has about $2 million in chips. He's shoved them out there.
Now Paul Maxfield right behind him with King 8 of spades. No, he's going to go out.
Well, Hassan Habib has King Jack of clubs here.
Counter, please.
Another strong starting hand, especially three-handed.
He's got $400,000 in the pot fence. There's nearly $2.7 million out there. It's going to cost him $1.5 million more to call. So he's not quite getting 2-to-1 odds on his money, but almost. You just can't imagine he could lay this down with his kind of chip count. Even if he'd lose this pot fence, he'd have over $9 million in chips.
If he should make this call, he would be a big favorite to take Twanley out of this event.
Vince, you have to suspect that Twan might be making a move here. He's desperate. He's on the short stack. Both the other two players have a large amount of chips. He's trying to get back in the hunt, pick up some blinds and antes. You hate to double up a WPT champion, but Vince, at some point, you got to try to take him out.
I should call you, man.
Well, at least I know I have the best hand.
Well, Hassan shows him the King Jack of clubs. That means his hand is dead. Twanley is going to win this pot.
I should have called you.
Well, he's absolutely accurate. He should have called it.
Have you beat?
Yeah, me beat.
Huh?
Yeah, me beat.
Vince, in my view, that's back-to-back mistakes by Hassan Habib.
I had 2 live ones.
Even if your opponent has ace-10 there, you're only a 3-to-2 underdog to win that pot. You could have the best hand. You could be up against a pair. You've got $400,000 in the blind. You're getting almost 2-to-1 odds on your money. In my view, Hassan Habib made a mistake by laying that hand down.
You're watching the $11.5 million WPT World Championship, the most prestigious poker tournament in the world. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. You'll watch the WPT World Championship. And the man that came in second in this event last year, Hassan Habib, in pretty good control here, has about $11 million.
Well, he has the chip lead, but a little slip, in my view, on the last 2 hands, the way he's played them. But as you said, he's still the favorite here. No question about that.
Back to the table on Hassan. Drink in hand, 8-7 in the other.
Well, Hassan going to limp in for $400,000.
Twan going out with Jack Deuce.
Now around to Paul Maxfield. He's got the Queen Jack and the big blind. He says, give us a flop.
Nothing fancy. Here come the first 3.
The flop is King 8 deuce with 2 hearts.
Hassan has picked up a piece of that, the pair of 8s.
Paul checks, and Hassan quickly checks the 2 8s. He's tired of getting check raised by this guy. The 9 of spade comes on the turn. That puts 2 spades and 2 hearts on the board. Paul checks. And Hassan bets $400,000, the minimum bet, the size of the big blind. Now Paul has a gut shot straight draw, meaning a 10 would give him a straight here.
Hassan's getting annoyed with this guy from England.
Paul just wondering what's going on. The guy didn't raise before the flop. He didn't bet on the flop. All of a sudden a 9 comes out there and he bets.
Raises.
He's not just going to bet. He's going to check and raise him.
He did, Vince. A check raise of $1 million.
Hassan just tired of being his victim.
Hassan is going to call him with the 2 8s.
He doesn't believe him so far.
Well, maybe he's putting him on some kind of draw, whether it be a flush or a straight draw. Thinks his 2 8s are good, makes the call. Here comes the river card. Well, it's the ace of spade that comes off. Action's on Paul. Can he pull the trigger again?
Check.
Well, he's going to check it.
No pair.
Hassan quickly checks behind him. Hassan's going to win this pot with 2 8s. Well, you just wonder, had Paul continued to pull the trigger and fired one more shell at the river, it'd have been very difficult for Hassan to call with 2 8s there. But as it was, he made a tough call on the turn, and he picks up the pot to lengthen his chip lead.
Hassan Habib placed second in last year's championship. This time, he wants to do just a little bit better.
I'm not asking for too much. Just want to finish one spot better than last year. You know.
Hassan has played poker professionally for 15 years. And over that time, he's developed a powerful reputation.
Raise, just call, man.
Hassan Habib is a very talented tournament player, especially for the bigger events.
But Hassan's fans are not limited to just poker players. The name Hassan Habib has oddly become a catchphrase to the outside world.
A bunch of people are yelling Hassan Habib now. They hit a jackpot. I hear people like yell Hassan Habib on golf courses. Hassan Habib! I don't know why they do that. I don't mind. Makes you kind of feel good, you know.
So whether you're a fan of Hassan's poker abilities or just his name, Hassan Habib greatly appreciates your support.
I really appreciate everybody that roots for me. I think that really keeps me going. Without that, I cannot make it.
Well, can anyone stop Hassan Habib? He's still a massive chip leader. He's in the place he wants to be in. Can it continue? This time he looks down at the 6-deuce offsuit. Even Hassan won't play that hand. Tuan lead with king 9.
I'm on.
And he's going all in with it.
Well, he knows the king high is favored over a random hand. He moves all in here. Going to force his opponent to pick up a big hand to beat him.
Back on the Englishman, Paul Maxfield. This time he has Jack 10.
How much is it?
Paul's in for $400,000 already. Is it worth him putting up another $1.7 million to compete?
Well, that's what it's going to cost him to call. There's $2.7 million in the pot right now, though.
But the question is, why would you want to gamble at this point? You're only invested $400. Give the guy the benefit of the doubt and go away and come back another day.
Maybe he thinks he's got to gamble with these two superstar players. He's not going to outplay them. Why not take a shot right here with a Jack 10? Maybe that's what he's thinking.
Well, this guy's outplayed them before tonight. He's made some beautiful, deceptive plays.
Okay, I'll call.
Well, he's doing it, Vince. He is gambling with the Jack 10.
Paul has Jack 10, Tuan has King 9.
It's 40,000 around.
Well, mathematically, Paul Maxfield has made the correct call here. He's getting a bigger price on his money than the odds are against him in winning this pot.
Tuan Lee just loving this action. He's saying, I'm a nice size favorite. Got my money all in.
Jack 10 against King 9.
So it's King 9 for Tuan Lee, Jack 10 for Paul Maxfield. Can Paul continue to get lucky? If so, that'll be it for our WPT champion, Tuan Lee.
Here comes the flop.
It's come 9-4-3.
It's a sheet of paper. That's like a sheet of paper.
Tuan's hit the top pair of 9s on the flop.
Flops a pair of 9s.
So right now, Paul needs a Jack or a 10 or 2 running cards to make a straight.
He just can't stand to watch.
$4.3 million in this pot. Here comes a turn card. It's an ace. So once again, we're down to the river card. The last time Paul Maxfield hit lightning in the jar to stay alive in this tournament. If he does so once again, he knocks Tuan Lee out. If not, Tuan Lee will double up and be right in the thick of things
Pair the board.
in this three-way match.
Pair the board.
Paul back turned.
Well, there it is. A 3 comes off at the river. Tuan Lee has done it. The crowd cheers. He is a very popular player, Vince. He's an action player. That's why fans like him. He's a good sport. He doesn't whine when he gets beat. He doubles up right here to stay alive.
Yeah, but you got to question that call by Paul. One thing to push the man all in with Jack 10, another thing to call it. Does not pay off for him. Is that the first misstep there for the Englishman?
He was just looking to gamble, Vince. Was hoping he could get lucky and win the pot. Unfortunately for him, he didn't.
You know, Mike, it is just straightforward power poker here at the WPT World Championship.
Well, stick around and let's see who gets knocked off the felt next. Don't go away.
Real Hassan Habib? I think coming in adrenaline junkie.
I saw one play made with 8-3. The guy's got kings. He's re-raised the guy.
You need to be able to make a stand with nothing sometimes.
And he's shown to all the crowd the 8-3.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The $70 million season has come down to one game and one world champion. Let's get back to the table.
Well, with that pot, WPT champion Tuan Le moves into second chip position. And once again, Vince, he's a force to be reckoned with.
He is just amazing, this young guy. Only 26 years old. Only been playing poker for 3 years. Back on Tuan this time. He looks down at a 7-6 offsuit.
Well, he calls the 400,000.
Paul throws away queen 4. And Hassan Habib with a 6-3 of clubs.
He says, all right, give us a flop.
He is going to speculate. Here come the first 3.
Oh, it's 10-6-3. Hassan Habib has flopped 2 pair.
Oh, just tremendous.
And he's checked.
He's going to try to trap.
Tuan bets 600,000. And here comes the check raise by Hassan.
He just lowers the boom.
1.8 million he's bet. Tuan Le with second pair here. He's just got 2 6s. It's going to cost him another 1.2 million to call, but he's not calling Vince. He's raising it.
Oh, this could be the misstep of the entire evening.
Oh.
He has raised it 2 million more.
How much more you got left, Juan?
Tuan Le only has about 2 million left here. I can't imagine Hassan wouldn't set him all in here, Vince.
No doubt.
2, 3, 4. I call. I'm all in. Oh, I just said call already. I call.
He says he calls. I'm all in.
Jesus.
That's going to count as a call. He cannot go all in.
Well, you're right. He can't go all in on this street. Hassan Habib fumbling the ball a little bit there in my mind by not moving all in on him.
Well, he meant to, but bobbled the words, and right now that could be a major break for Tuan.
I imagine Hassan's going to move in on the turn, whatever comes out there. It's the deuce of spade.
I'm all in.
And Hassan does go all in. Tuan Le folding, even though there's 10.8 million in the pot. Cost him 2 million more to call. He just felt like he was beat. He's going to save that last 2 million to try to fight back again.
Who'd you have, Hassan?
6s and 3s.
Huh?
6s and 3s.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hassan was supposed to say a flush draw. Might as well put the guy on total tilt. In the meantime, Tuan Le looks devastated, Vince. He is down to $2 million in chips.
Got to cry after that one. I don't blame him.
You can see the look on Tuan's friends and families out in the crowd there.
Happens so fast the way he plays cards.
Well,
Up 1 minute, down the next, so
in the
fast.
meantime, he's still alive, Vince. And if for some reason Hassan doesn't win this tournament, he might look back on that hand right there and say, hey, I should have set him in right there.
Action on Paul. He's gone out. Hassan
All
with
in.
queen 6 has gone all in.
I call.
Well, Tuan quickly calls him with 2 10s here, Vince.
Oh boy, it could be payback time.
Well, what a turnaround this could be for Hassan Habib if the 2 10s hold up for Tuan, in that he failed to get the 2 million from him the last pot, and now it's going to give him 2 million more this pot.
Slip of the tongue by the professional Hassan Habib. What a spitting contest this has turned into between these two. The difference between third place and second place, quite significant. Now here comes the flop.
2 10s against queen 6.
Flop comes up ace-3 deuce. So the 10's out in front.
Right now, Hassan Habib must catch a queen or 2 running clubs to win this pot.
Was it going to double up Tuan Le?
Well, there's 1 club. The 9 of clubs comes on the turn.
Getting closer.
So right now, Tuan Le has to dodge a club or a queen. If he does so, he will be right back in the hunt in this match.
If he doesn't, he'll be our third place finisher. Here comes the cash card.
Well, it's a jack of spade. Tuan Le has doubled up here.
And what a turn of events. Tuan Le sticks around and now sticks it to Hassan.
He won at Foxwoods by being aggressive and unpredictable. Tonight, Tuan Le hopes his style will help him with a championship win.
Oh, it's a 10. It's over. Yeah! He's made it straight.
It was huge for me to win it.
This tournament is history.
Just to know that I can win it at the highest level of poker.
Tuan Le has only been playing poker for 3 years, and already his reputation precedes him.
He's a very aggressive and crazy like I am.
No, I got 8 high. What?
His opponent's turned over an 8-4 here.
Call me with that?
It's difficult to say what he's doing. He's not scared to put the money in.
He's not going to be in there waiting for a good hand. He likes to play a lot of pots.
Yeah, I played a lot of big pots, but that's the same way I got the chips, was playing the same way I lost them. So it doesn't bother me one bit.
If Tuan wins tonight, his WPT winnings will take him over the $4 million mark, well on his way to retirement.
I said I was going to retire after somewhere in the 8-figure range, which is 10 million. At this rate, I might want to raise the bar up.
Vince, when you think a 26-year-old could become the winningest player in the history of the World Poker Tour, capture his second World Poker Tour title by winning tonight, that is really something.
Okay, back to the table of dreams. Action's going to be on Tuan Le. Peeks down to the 9 deuce, throws it away.
Round to Paul Maxfield here. He looks down at King 10 in the small blind and just calls.
And now it's on Hassan, who has a pretty good hand, ace jack.
He's going to raise it.
He raises it.
Raise it $1 million.
Paul says he's going to go all in with this.
All right, call.
Hassan has quickly called it.
Well, what a great call by Hassan Habib right here.
King 10. King 10.
Come on, Tuan, man.
All is all in.
You gotta do it, man. Yeah, come
Count
on.
over here, please.
Open ace.
If this hand holds up for Hassan, they'll be playing heads up, and he'll be a commanding chip leader.
This is it.
Come on.
Get him.
Come on.
Get him.
Come on, man.
I flat called and then went over the top. I didn't call. Yeah.
The amateur from England, Paul Maxfield, going to have to get lucky to stay alive now. Can he do it? He has King 10. Hassan has Ace Jack.
Was Paul Maxfield a little too rash here?
Well, I think he played a little bit bold here, Vince, no question about it. What amazes me is Hassan has gotten like Paul. They're both away from the table. Nobody's at the table, Vince.
No.
Playing for $2.8 million. We're about to have a flop, and nobody's sitting down.
I've got to go too now. What drama here at Bellagio.
This is a big pot, Vince. $8.4 million. Here comes a flop. Well, the flop has come 8-7-3. No help for Paul yet. He needs 2 runners to make it straight, or he must catch a king or a 10.
Is it coming, Steve?
Can Paul Maxfield get lucky?
Right in the window. Okay.
Well, it's a 6. So now Paul can win the pot with a 9, a 10, or a king. A 9 gives him a straight. A 10 gives him 2 10s. A king gives him 2 kings. He must have a 9, 10, or a king. Can he do it? He will not look back at the arena floor, staring into space. Can Paul Maxfield get lucky at the river one more time? Well, the tension mounts. Will it be a 9, 10, or a king? That's what he needs.
Here's the board.
It's a king! He's done it! He's done it! Wow! Well, they come out and bear hug the guy, Vince. Amazing. Paul Maxfield catches another river card to stay alive. Well, Vince, this guy is going to set a trend in poker where nobody's going to watch the flops anymore.
I don't believe it.
Hassan, remove all sharp objects.
1 card away, he'd have had over $18 million in chips and been in total command in this heads-up battle.
This is incredible. I still believe this.
Absolute insanity here.
Well, what drama. Nobody quite believing it.
I don't believe
Hassan would like a recount here.
Well, he's still got the chip lead. He's still in good shape. He's got to put it out of his mind, Vince, and get back to playing here.
Well, this is incredible. We are watching a back-and-forth battle over millions of dollars here.
So don't go away. We'll be right back with more championship poker from Bellagio.
Welcome back to the WPT World Championship. With millions on the line, no one thought poker sensation Phil Ivey would be the first to fall.
Phil Ivey out in 6th place.
Then, dreams were shattered for Dutch player Rob Holink and California pro John Fan. Next, Hassan Habib lost his huge chip lead, but quickly got it back. Fearless Tuan Lee wasn't afraid to bet his last chip and came back with a vengeance. And Paul Maxfield was on the verge of saying cheerio until he hit royalty on the river.
It's a king! He's done it! He's done it!
It's a back-and-forth battle between a former WPT champion, last year's runner-up, and a British bulldog. It's anybody's game. Who will win the title and the $2.8 million first prize?
Now back to our champion commentators, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, and you're watching the WPT World Championship from Bellagio. And right now, Hassan Habib is our chip leader. He's got about 9.5. Paul with about 8 million. And Tuan Lee, the short stack, with about 4.9 million. Millions at stake here.
Action is on Hassan. He looks down and finds a pair of 7s.
Nice wired pair. Good position.
He's got to maintain his composure here, Vince.
1 million.
And he's going to go up. He's going to make it $1 million, Mike.
I'm all in.
But over the top, Tuan Lee with ace, 8 of spades is going all in. Paul folded behind him.
Well, Hassan quickly calls. Nearly $5 million all in for Tuan Lee here with the ace, 8 of spade.
Right here.
We have the classic race situation. The 2 overcards versus the under pair. Last hand, Hassan Habib got unlucky to lose at the river.
Okay.
Can he get lucky this time and take out Tuan Lee?
Yeah, bring
Both up on the feet. Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go again.
Huh? I need another drink now, man.
At this point, Hassan a slight favorite to win this pot.
He'd love to bust out his friend Tuan Lee.
4.8. 4.88.
About $10 million in this pot.
All right, that's fine.
Good luck, buddy.
Nearly half the chips in the tournament
He's up against the ace, 8 of spades.
so far tonight. Every time Tuan Lee has been all in a forced win situation, he has won the pot.
I got to gamble.
Can he do it yet again?
5 cards to come. Here comes the first 3. It's a king 10-3 for 2 spades.
Tuan Lee has flopped the nut flush draw. Hassan Habib still has the best hand with the 2 7s. So we still have virtually a coin flip situation. Tuan Lee actually the slight favorite at this point. He needs to catch a spade, an ace, or an 8.
Otherwise, he will be eliminated. He will be our 3rd place finisher. Here comes the turn card.
It's a 9 of spade.
He got the spade.
Well, that's going to close Hassan out of this pot. There's no card he can catch now to win this pot. And he is shell-shocked, Vince. In back-to-back hands, he has doubled up both opponents.
Man, I got no choice. I have no choice.
I know, you have to.
8 comes up on the river, irrelevant. Mr. Lucky Tuan Lee going after his 2nd WPT title, and this is the big one.
Hassan Habib.
Look at that look on his face.
Well, really, nothing he could do about either one of those hands, I don't think, Vince.
No.
You can't get away from them. Just unfortunately for him, he lost them both. The massive chip leader all night long in this tournament is now the short stack in this 3-handed match. Tuan Lee, who's been on the short stack all night at this final table, has finally worked his chips up to where he is chip leader. He breaks into a big grin, and why not? This guy doesn't die, Vince.
Let me tell you something. If Paul doesn't hit the king on the river just a couple hands back, you could put a ribbon on this tournament. It's Hassan's. It's over. But that's not the way it was.
10 or 11.
Vince, he still has over 4.6 million in chips.
Right.
Meaning if he wins one pot, he'll have 10 million in chips and be in great shape.
Just amazing. But action's going to be on Tuan Lee, the chip leader. This time he has 9-3 of hearts.
He is feeling it right now.
Raise.
He is going to raise it up here with a 9-3. Comes in for 950,000.
Right behind him, Paul Maxfield with a pair of deuces.
Paul lays down his pair.
Now Hassan's got a 5-3 of spades, and he's going all in with it.
All in with the 5 high.
Take it, take it.
And Tuan lays his hand down.
Well, Tuan has to lay down the 9-3, Vince, but you know, you just have to sense that Hassan feels like he's got to make something happen quickly here. He's just trying to force getting his chip lead back, it looks like.
You know, I think Hassan has truly passed the pain barrier time in poker. And when you do that, you make moves like that, and they pay off sometimes.
Well, it worked for him there. Action's on Paul now. He's just sort of sitting back, letting these guys throw blows.
Well, he's got 9-6 in his hand. He's going to go out. Now Hassan's got Queen-8.
He just limps in out of the small blind with it. Tuan Lee with King-Jack makes it $1 million to go.
I'm all in.
But over the top, Hassan has said all in.
For $5.8 million here.
Trying to trap.
Jeez. I call.
Well, Tuan's called him. He just doesn't believe it. He's limping in out of strength.
Hassan is cracking like Joe Namath's knees right now.
Well, he just sensed that Hassan is leaking oil. Decided to call him with a King-Jack. And right now, Tuan Lee about a 3-2 favorite to win this pot and take Hassan Habib out of here.
Absolute meltdown here for Hassan. We're coming back. 5 cards to come. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the WPT World Championship. Hassan Habib started with a massive chip lead.
I'm all in.
Now his tournament life is on the line.
Hassan Habib in big trouble right now. He's got all his money in there with Queen-8 of clubs against Tuan Lee's King-Jack.
No momentum whatsoever on the side of Hassan. Can his fortunes turn around right now?
Yeah, played like they're double parked. 2.8 million to the winner. Here comes the first 3.
Well, flop comes 9-7 deuce.
Does not help Hassan. Right now, Tuan Lee out in front with the King-Jack.
Hassan looking for an 8 or a queen. 2 running clubs or 2 running cards to make it straight. Hassan Habib knows he has to get lucky to stay alive here. Can he catch a card to do it?
Here comes the turn.
Well, the turn card is a deuce of diamonds.
No help for Hassan right now.
Well, we have come down to the river, and Hassan Habib must catch a queen or an 8, or he's going to drown here in this 3-way contest and be out in 3rd place.
It all comes down to this card. Here it is.
Well, it's a 3 of diamonds.
Didn't get it.
Tuan Lee showing jubilation here, but coming back to console Hassan, as is Paul.
You just got on lucky today. You just got on lucky.
2 years in a row, you held your own.
Well, we're watching one of the truly great players of poker, Hassan Habib, a brilliant poker mind.
You're going to celebrate, baby.
Well, Vince, he played great for 7 days here, but you just sensed that his wheels came off a little bit after he took those back-to-back all-in beats.
Well, he's going to make $896,000. He gets a standing ovation.
Hassan Habib, the guy who finished 2nd this tournament last year, finishes 3rd this year.
So are you going to make it 3 in a row?
That'll be nice, yeah. 3rd time the charm, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you can do it.
Good luck.
Okay.
We are down to 2 players. Who's going to be crowned the WPT World Champion?
Well, here come the bevy of beauties, led by Shauna Hyatt. Cash already sitting out there, as you can see, along with the beautiful Argentium silver trophy. The girls are bringing it over to the table to make these guys' mouths water. And why not? $2.8 million to the winner. That's more money than the winner of the Masters and the Kentucky Derby put together.
Just incredible.
Well, the crowd cheers. I'm not sure if it's for the lovely ladies or for the fact that we're going to crown a champion shortly.
Well, here we go. Poker history on the line here tonight. The 2nd largest prize pool in the history of poker. That's $11.3 million. Winner's going to take home 2.8. It's going to be one of these guys.
You become a poker all-star when you win a WPT title. You become a poker legend when you win a WPT World Championship.
452 players started. And now we have the amateur player, Paul Maxfield. Can this dream come true for him tonight versus the 26-year-old Tuan Lee?
As we start out this heads-up play, Tuan Lee with about a 2-to-1 chip advantage over his opponent.
Ante's right now going up to $50,000 each, with the blinds going to be $250,000 and $500,000. That's $500,000 for the big blind.
Action's going to be on Tuan Lee. Looks down at the 10 deuce of spade.
And he calls $250,000. Now right behind him, Paul Maxfield with ace-9 of clubs, just wrapping a call.
Not playing that hand very aggressive, Vince.
Here's the flop. Queen 9-7 on the flop. Paul hit the nines, but he checked it, Mike. Tuan betting this with absolutely nothing.
Tuan betting $700,000.
And here comes Paul.
Well, Paul's just going to call him. He's just going to throw him rope, Vince, and let him walk the dog here a little bit, I think. He knows Tuan's a very aggressive player. The 6 of hearts comes on the turn.
Kind of a scare card. Now, Paul's checked it.
There's 3 hearts on the board now.
Neither player has a heart in their hand. Tuan's going to check as well. Check, check.
Well, Tuan Lee has the gut shot straight draw. Vince, the H come off. Tuan Lee's made a 10 high straight.
Oh, that was just a ridiculous card there.
Well, he got the free card.
Oh, but Paul mixing it up. He's betting now. Oops.
Well, now Paul's betting the 2 9s when there's a 4 card straight and a potential flush on the board. A little puzzling.
Well, he's bet $1 million. He is doing everything backwards in this hand.
Tuan Lee with the straight. Certainly, you wouldn't think he'd throw this hand away, but... Well, he's raising with a straight, Vince. He hit the gut shot straight. He's going to raise it. He's made it $4 million.
I don't understand the raise, though. You're only going to get a fold. You can't get a call unless you're beat. But nevertheless, he's taking that pot.
And Vince, here's a case where I believe Paul lost that pot because of lack of aggression. He checked on the turn. He allowed his opponent to catch a card on the river that would beat him.
Well, timidly played, heavily paid. Mr. Mo on the side of Tuan.
Action's going to be on Tuan Lee.
He's already in for $250,000. This time he picks up Dolly Parton 9-5.
The guy just doesn't give up a pot, Vince. In fact, he raised this one, makes it over $1 million to go.
Into Paul Maxfield. Paul's got a Jack-10 this time.
This is virtually the minimum raise that you can make. You must raise at least the size of the blind.
But Paul is going to speculate.
Well, Paul has the Jack-10. Getting 3-to-1 odds on his money. He's going to make the call there to see a flop. His sense, with a weak hand like Tuan's, you'd want to make a larger raise than that if you're trying to take the pot right there.
Here come the first 3.
What's 10-8-8?
Paul has hit the top pair.
Yep, and wisely checks it. And I say wisely checks it because he knows how aggressive Tuan Lee is. Here comes Tuan for $1.2 million with absolutely nothing.
Yeah, got the madman to bet there. Now what do you do if you're Paul?
I'm all in.
He's going all in.
Well, you see the frustrated look in Tuan Lee's face right there. He's saying, what was I thinking here with a 9-5 offsuit?
Oh, he's just taking a shot, and that's why he wins so many pots, by making those kind of moves. He's going to lay it down, has to, of course.
Paul getting back in the hunt here. Chalk one up to the Brit, Vince.
Well, this has just turned into a game of chicken. Who's going to take this title? We'll be right back with the WPT Championship at Bellagio in just a moment.
If I were to play heads up, I would want to go down with Paul Maxfield because I think he is one of the soft spots in the lineup.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We're at Bellagio for the WPT World Championship, and we are down to 2 players, an amateur from England against a former WPT champion this season, Tuan Lee.
Winner's going to take home $2.8 million. Tuan Lee right now the chip leader with about $14.6 million. And Paul Maxfield, the entrepreneur, has about $8 million.
Action's going to be on Paul.
The Englishman is picked up. No, not Big Ben, but Big Slick. Ace-king.
And Betsy just limping in with it. Again trying to trap Tuan Lee.
That's right, but Tuan's not going to go anywhere. He has a 4-3.
He says, give us a flop this time. And the flop has come Queen 9-4, so Tuan has out-flopped him here.
And he's checked, and right behind him, Paul quickly checking as well.
Well, here comes the turn card. Well, the board pairs queens.
They check again, just like that.
Well, Tuan has the best hand with 2 4s.
Well, he's getting wise from that last hand. Doesn't like to get checked and raised. Here comes the river.
And an ace comes on the river.
Paul spiked the river card.
Well, again, Tuan checks.
$2 million.
Paul's not checking this time.
He's betting $2 million.
Well, that's a healthy bet, Vince. There's only $1 million in the pot.
Right.
It's been checked all the way down. All of a sudden, he's betting $2 million. Tuan has got to think this is a suspicious move. He's going to call him here. He's not putting him on an ace because he didn't raise before the flop. And Paul, the Englishman, picking up a nice little pot there.
And now Tuan's kicking himself and saying, wait a second.
Well, Vince, you know what Tuan's thinking right now. Hey, I see how this guy is playing. He's just trying to trap me on every single occasion. He limped in with ace-king of clubs before the flop. He's just going to let me take the lead consistently here. I better be a little careful.
Exactly right, but great players know how to change gears, especially when they go into heads-up battle.
And Shauna Hyatt's going to tell us about the strategies it takes to play heads-up poker for the money in this week's Poker Corner.
Good poker players make money. Great poker players win titles. So what separates the two? It all comes down to one thing. Heads up.
We are down to heads-up play.
Playing head-to-head for the big bucks and the title. Some players are good at it, others are even better. So what's the secret?
One of the things about heads up is you can't really sit and wait for, big pairs.
Martin's betting it, getting aggressive, and he's going to take this pot too.
You have to be very aggressive, You have to try to get into the other guy's head.
It's almost like a game of chicken, where one guy raises in, but he's raised a lot of pots. Now you raise him back because you don't think he has much.
There's no hesitation, just that quick.
But one can't survive on aggression alone.
When you're playing heads up, you definitely have to open up your game a lot more. You have to sniff out when your opponent doesn't have anything.
And bets $400,000 with that hand. Michael calls $400,000.
Does not believe that.
Twice, Lee Watkinson found himself heads up at a WPT final table, but couldn't pull off the win either time.
He has bought it.
I couldn't really read Doyle heads up, or Eli for that matter. I probably should work on my heads up.
Lee is really a fine player, but he never played any head up, so consequently he didn't really know the ins and outs of playing heads up.
You have to put a lot of hours in heads up. You have to sit down and play a lot of hands.
The pros agree. Be aggressive, learn to read your opponent, and practice. So in the end, you'll be the toast of the tournament.
Right now, the antes and blinds are going to go up $75,000 antes, and the blinds are going to be $300,000 and $600,000.
What that means is you'd have to go ahead and gamble, initiate the action, and bet it up.
All right. It's on Tuan Lee this time. Looks down at just an awful 8-5 offsuit. That's not going to stop him.
Well, he's made it $900,000 here, Vince.
Yes, he has.
Now he's taking it back. Well, tournament director Jack McClellan says you have to make the minimum raise. You put in at least half a raise.
Yeah.
So there you go. Tuan's made it $1.2 million. Now Paul's been watching all this, Vince.
Now Paul with just a 6-4 in his hand.
I'll raise.
Oh, he's going to raise it now. He picked up on it.
He sensed Tuan had made a mistake, tried to limp in. He doesn't have that strong a hand, so he's going to put a move on him here.
$2 million more.
And raise him $3 million.
I'm all in.
Tuan Lee doesn't buy it. And he's made an incredible re-raise here with 8-5.
Well, he shows the crowd the bluff there.
Whole stone bluff, ladies and gentlemen.
Stone bluff.
6-4 now.
Tremendous play by Tuan Lee. Just take your poker books and get your refund immediately. All right? It just doesn't say this kind of stuff in those books. On Paul this time. He looks down at King 8 offsuit.
$2 million.
And he's going to raise it.
I'm all in. Cool.
Tuan Lee says all in.
Well, Tuan Lee has the ace high. Paul quickly calls him.
Oh, so all the money is in right now. Ace 4 against King 8.
I raised 2 million. I only got 3 left. I raised 2.
All going to his buddy
And
in
he's
the
gone all in, so I
stands.
told him I've got 3 million left. I'm not passing for 3.
Well, he was virtually pot committed there, Vince.
I have to call. I can't pass.
Right now, Tuan Lee, a little over 3-2 favorite to take the title right here, right now, and it would be his second World Poker Tour title.
Put an ace up there. Just put an ace. We'll make it. We'll go home. Drinks on me. Drinks on me.
A lot of chips in this pot.
12 million.
$11 million.
I can't live.
He's a suck out artist. He sucked out on all of us the whole week.
In fact, if Paul does win this pot, he will have a slight chip lead in this heads-up battle.
5 cards to come. Tuan Lee with the opportunity to become a 2-time World Poker Tour champion and the WPT World Champion here tonight.
Here we go. Well, flop is 10-9-5.
No help for the Englishman so far. Tuan Lee out in front with the ace-4.
Tuan Lee breaks into a little grin. He knows he's that much closer to taking this title. Right now, he's got to dodge a king or an 8 or 2 running cards to make a straight.
I can't loop.
Otherwise, Paul's going to have to go back to Heathrow with just a story. Here's the turn card. It's a 7.
Well, the crowd moans because that gives Paul an open-end straight draw.
Oh, my.
He now has a 7, 8, 9, 10, meaning he can win this pot with a 6, an 8, a jack, or a king.
God, this is sickening.
A lot of cards. Paul Maxfield can catch to win this pot. Can he do it? He's caught lightning twice before. Can he do it a third time? He's done it. He's done it again, Vince. This is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. He has done it for the 3rd time. Caught a river card to stay alive in this tournament. Oh, wow. Well, the crowd is shocked, Vince. And how can they not be? Look at Tuan Lee. 1 card away from capturing this title.
It's incredible, this is.
It is party time for Paul.
Oh, man. Vince, Tuan Lee had a place dusted off on the mantle for that Argentium silver trophy, I can tell you.
I can't stand much more of this.
I know.
I can't stand much more of this.
And with that pot, we are almost dead even in chips right now. In fact, Paul Maxfield has a slight chip lead now, Vince. It's anybody's game from here out.
Unbelievable action coming from Bellagio. We're coming back. Stay with us. Who's going to be crowned the new WPT World Champion here on the World Poker Tour? Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The 2 players left at the table are guaranteed millionaires, but only one will be crowned the champion.
We are seeing some exciting drama take place tonight at Bellagio in the WPT World Championship. Paul Maxfield, the amateur from England, staying alive on the river for the 2nd occasion, and he now has the chip lead in this heads-up battle.
Well, he is making England proud, but action on Tuan Lee this time.
Oh, thanks.
Tuan trying a new strategy, limping in on the button here with the Jack-3 offsuit.
And Paul right behind him with just Queen 4 says, okay, let's see a flop.
Well, the flop comes 10-9-4, so Paul's flop bottom pair and checks.
Gives the green light to Tuan, and there he goes again.
Yep, he leads out and bets 800,000, and Paul's going to call him with the bottom pair.
Likes to let Tuan bet his hands. Here we go with the turn.
Well, the board pairs 10s. So right now, Paul Maxfield in front with 10s and 4s. He checks, though. Tuan Lee's going to fire a second shell here with absolutely nothing. He's betting $3 million.
Bets with just imagination.
And Paul lays it down. That's good poker instincts by Tuan Lee there, Vince. And I say that because he would assume that if his opponent had matched the top pair there, that he would have raised him on the flop. He didn't. He just called. Tuan thought he had a straight draw or perhaps a bottom pair. Thought he could take it away with a nice bet. Indeed, that's exactly what happened.
I'm impressed by Tuan Lee. He will not die I mean, this guy could outlive a sea turtle.
I'll tell you, he is fighting to the finish. There's no question about that. He's going for it all.
Okay, action back on Paul. This time looks down to the king 3 of spades.
And he's going to limp in on the button with it.
And Twan's going to check his 8-5 of clubs. So we're going to see a flop.
Ooh, we may see some fireworks. Paul's flopped kings. Twan has flopped a flush draw.
And Twan quickly checked it. And here comes Paul. He's betting $2 million into Twan. Twan, 4 to the flush.
Raise.
He's going to raise it.
Raise.
Well, he is a bold gambling style player. You're seeing it right here.
He's pushed in $3 million.
I'm all in.
And look at this. Paul going over the top says, I'm all in.
So if you can beat my kings up, good luck to you.
So Twan Lee has 4 clubs.
Vince, it's only going to cost him less than $4 million to call. He's up against either the best hand or Paul could have the best draw on him also.
I call.
And he's doing it. He is gambling.
They turn up the cards.
So right now, Twan Lee can become our champion if he can catch a club and dodges a king or a queen. Otherwise, the amateur from England, Vince, could take a massive chip lead in this tournament. This is a huge pot here. Biggest pot we've had so far.
And Paul cannot watch, of course. He's going to have to sweat this out.
That might be a bad call.
Oh, he's second-guessing this call. We will find out soon.
It's going to be a great call. If he catches a club, he'll be the champion.
Here comes the turn.
Well, a 5 comes off. Now he can also win the pot with a 5 in addition to a club. Twan needs a club or a 5. Any other card wins it for Paul Maxfield. Can Paul dodge a club? That's a king. It's a full house. Paul Maxfield has done it again. Well, Vince, he hit a river card, but he didn't need it that time. Well, that pot had some real meat in it right there. Paul Maxfield, a big chip leader now.
Twan absolutely decimated.
Well, he gambled on a draw there. He was hoping his opponent didn't have anything to make the call with. Indeed, he had 2 kings. He called him. Twan Lee did not get lucky there.
And Twan is on the morphine drip right now.
Well, the amateur from England, the satellite winner, is on the verge of taking this WPT World title.
Well, who is going to be crowned the new WPT World Champion? Poker history on the line here tonight at Bellagio.
An 8. He does it. Look at Allen. He's skipping. Look at this.
Allen has won this championship.
Martin Dignape is our champion.
He just won the richest prize pool in the history of poker.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We're down to heads up and the most exciting moment in the lives of these 2 poker players.
We're watching the heads up battle for the WPT World Championship here tonight from Bellagio.
The amateur from England, Paul Maxfield. The Cinderella story here at this final table. The guy won a satellite to get his entry into this tournament. He could walk off as our champion.
What an upset this would be.
So Twan Lee trying to battle his way back into this championship.
Now he's got to dig down deep. Stay with this.
Certainly. Things turn around quickly in a no-limit hold'em tournament. Let's see if it turns around for Twan.
Okay, this time Twan has 9-8 in his hand, offsuit.
Well, he's going to raise it, Vince. He makes it $2 million to go. He is just not going to change his style. He is going to remain the aggressor.
Behind him, Paul has a 6-5 of diamonds, suited connector. It looks like he wants to invest here.
He has the chip lead, remember.
Now he's going to do it.
He's going to try to get lucky and catch a flop and end this thing. Let's see if he can do it. It's come 6-5-3. Paul Maxfield has flopped the top 2 pair and checks.
I'm all in. I call.
Twan quickly went all in with a gut shot straight draw.
And Paul quickly called it.
And right now, Paul Maxfield is about a 4-to-1 favorite to win this pot and capture this title.
Well, he checked all night when he had big hands. This is the one he was waiting for. He's in a great place to take this title.
He's about to put on the glass slipper, folks.
Tuan Le, absolutely devastated.
Well, he needs to catch a 7 to make a straight, or 2 running cards to win this pot.
Buckle up, here comes the turn. It's a deuce.
That means if a 4 comes off, it would be a split pot. For Tuan to win this pot, he must catch a 7.
If I see another suck out, I'm going to eat this piece of paper.
So Tuan Le must catch a 7 or a 4, or this tournament is history, and Paul Maxfield will be our champion.
Coming down to this card, it's the cash card.
He caught the 7. Oh my God! Well, I don't believe this. Wow! Oh my God! Well, Paul, a good sport there. Then you know I've had my share of drawouts on the river. What can you do? Wow! He caught a 7 at the river to stay alive. Unbelievable. Both of these players have been 1 card away from putting that beautiful trophy on their mantle, yet they just can't do it. Nobody dies here. These guys are like worms. You cut them in half, and they just keep on squirming around.
You know what? Just puff up your pillow, get comfortable, because it looks like we're sticking around for a while.
Right now, it truly is anybody's game again.
Action down on Paul Maxfield. This time he starts with ace-5.
Good hand in the heads-up situation, and he's going to pop it up.
But Tuan right behind him with Jack-10 quickly calls it.
Well, he's going to play the rush. So if I can catch a gut shot straight to win, maybe I can win with a Jack-10.
No regard for money or chips here at Bellagio tonight.
Well, $5 million in the pot right now.
Here's our flop.
Flop is Jack-9-3. Tuan Le is flop top pair and checked. And quickly, Paul checked right behind him with the ace-high.
Tuan going to slow play. Mix it up in first position. We're going to see a turn card.
And he was hoping his opponent would bet on the flop there. Well, the 9 of diamonds comes off.
I'm all in.
Tuan quickly goes all in here.
Yes, and Paul has to release the hand.
In case his opponent had a diamond, he was going to make him pay to catch that flush.
Some momentum coming back for Tuan Le.
Round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows.
Who's going to take the title at Bellagio? We're coming right back. Stay tuned.
Want to see a grown man jump for joy? There's a good chance it may happen soon, so don't go away.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. Heads-up battle for the WPT World Championship.
Well, certainly the most dramatic tournament we've ever witnessed on the World Poker Tour. Just astounding, dramatic drawouts, all on the river at this final table. Well, with that pot, Tuan Le is 1 step closer to capturing his 2nd World Poker Tour title. He now has about 15 million in chips. His opponent, Paul Maxfield, has 7.7 million.
Both players going through such adversity here tonight. Who will come out on top?
Action's on Tuan Le. He looks down at the 8-5 of clubs. And he maintains his aggressive style, pops it up to 2 million.
Not going to slow down. Now Paul with Queen Jack.
I'm all in.
He's going all in with it.
Well, he's making a stand there, Vince. He's just not going to let Tuan push him around anymore. I like this play out of Paul Maxfield right here.
Tuan can't take the heat. He is folded.
Well, Tuan doesn't want to put another $5.5 million in that pot to try to get lucky. He's going to wait for a better spot. But give the Englishman credit there, Vince. He took the bull by the horns there and moved all in with the Queen Jack.
Don't forget, he got in through a satellite. He didn't have to put up the entire amount. It is just dream time here for him.
Well, what a battle we're seeing here tonight. We've got 2 single guys, a 48-year-old company director from England, Paul Maxfield, versus former WPT champion and professional player, 26-year-old Tuan Le.
And I have to say, never before on any World Poker Tour event have we ever seen so many suckouts on the river. It's just been ridiculous here tonight.
Action's on Paul Maxfield. He's got a king 5 offsuit, and he's going all in with it, Vince.
I call.
And right behind him, Twan with king jack of diamonds has called it.
Well, he loves this spot right here.
I have king jack of diamonds. King 5
He is
against
in
king
a
jack.
dominating position to take this title right now, Vince.
Don't do it.
He has king jack.
Don't do it
He's
this
up
time.
against king 5.
Don't do it this time.
Paul just putting his foot on the gas. Could that be the wrong move right now? He's behind at this point. 5 cards to come.
You can't blame him for raising with a king high in a heads-up situation. Unfortunately for him, Twan Lee picked up a better hand. It's not over, though. We've seen him get lucky before. Can he do it one more time?
Paul cannot bear to see this.
You never know. This guy has like 20 million lives.
Twan Lee saying he's got 20 million lives. It seems like it when you're sitting at that table and you see the guy hit river card after river card to stay alive.
Twan's got a couple himself, though.
You're right about that.
You got to be when you knock out 450 of the best players in the world to make it to the final 2. Here we go with the first 3 cards. And the flop comes up Jack 10-3. That's a pair of jacks for Twan.
Well, he's jumping up and down because he now knows his opponent has to catch 2 running cards to win this pot. The only way Paul can win this pot outright is if it comes 5-5. He could backdoor straight and get a split out of this pot.
Look at Twan. He is overwhelmed right now with emotion.
Well, he knows it's on his fingertips. It's in the palm of his hands right now. Well, it's a queen. Twan's jumping up and down.
But it's not over yet.
Well, he can't lose it.
No.
But if an ace or a 9 comes up, he would split the pot with Paul.
I believe he thought he won it.
He forgot about the backdoor straight. That would give him a tie.
But he is a big favorite.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Paul recognizes that now. Now he's begging, please don't do it to me.
Otherwise, this match is
I just can't keep going. My heart can't take much more of this.
Will this ever end?
Wow. What drama we've witnessed tonight.
Paul, can he get lucky once again and survive?
Can the Englishman pull one more rabbit out of the hat and survive again?
26-year-old with millions at stake on this very card. It is the destiny card for Twan Lee right now.
It's a 7.
It's over.
Twan Lee has done it. He has captured his 2nd World Poker Tour title and become the wealthiest player in the history of the World Poker Tour.
Twan going into the audience here.
Yeah. He's like a wide receiver on the Green Bay Packers. He's going into the stands to be congratulated. What drama, what excitement we've witnessed tonight on the World Poker Tour.
I cannot believe that.
You know, Antonio, the WPT World Championship certainly is a highlight to an already fantastic season.
Yeah, Shauna, but as we all know, all good things must come to an end.
Now it's time to talk to our champion, and he's the champion for the 2nd time this season on the World Poker Tour, Twan Lee from Los Angeles, California. Well, Twan, there's nothing like a walk in the park when you take home these trophies, right?
No. Mike, you're going to get me in trouble. Yeah, I'm still breathless, but in my heart, there were still 6 champions at the table. I was just fortunate to, dig deep and come out with the victory. But, they were all champions. They played really hard and really tough.
Well, you're right about that, Twan. And now, as a custom on the World Poker Tour, it's time to toast our winner with the official beer of the World Poker Tour, Michelob Amber Bock. And now to the 2-time WPT champion and the winner of the WPT World Championship, Twan Lee. On behalf of Vince Van Patten, Shauna Hyatt, and everyone at the World Poker Tour, thanks for watching us this season. Until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters.